Everyone, welcome to the show. I have updates about the investigations into Donald Trump and his allies. So first is the huge news that the special counsel for the Department of Justice, Jack Smith, as you guys know, he is asking the court to make an exception to the attorney-client privilege rules. He's trying to force Trump attorney Evan Corcoran to provide details about his conversations with Trump, possibly others too, in a sealed motion. Smith apparently cited the crime fraud exception. So that means that he believes that Trump or maybe one of his allies engaged in some sort of illegal activity with attorney Corcoran. So the attorney-client privilege rule doesn't apply in that case if there is a crime committed. As I shared recently, Corcoran had just met with the grand jury. I think it was last week. He apparently refused to answer a bunch of their questions due to attorney-client privilege. So that's what this new sealed filing is all about. Corcoran, as you guys probably recall, he was very involved in the classified documents issue with Trump. He personally handed over dozens of classified documents to the FBI after they issued a subpoena back in May of 2022. Also, about a year and a half after wrangling with Trump and his team. And Trump attorney Christina Bobb claims that Corcoran is the one who drafted a letter and then urged her to sign it, attesting to the false statement that Trump had completely thoroughly searched his property, nothing left, nothing to see here, we've got it all handled. So Corcoran could be in hot water himself. Another person who Smith seems to be targeting is attorney Boris Epshteyn. He's the one who introduced Corcoran to Trump. And according to grand jury witnesses, the special counsel has been asking a lot of questions about him. Specifically, the prosecutor is trying to determine if Epshteyn tried to influence grand jury testimony given by some of the witnesses. In addition to all of that, the special counsel has issued a subpoena to Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows. They're trying to get documents and testimony from him now. So it appears, based on these most recent subpoenas, that the January 6th investigation by the special counsel may be coming to a close because typically they work their way up the food chain. So former Vice President Mike Pence, former chief of staff, that is as close as you can get to Trump. Next is news about the New York Attorney General lawsuit against Trump and his organization and his 3 children. A while back, I shared that Trump was hit with a $110,000 contempt order for repeatedly failing to comply with discovery requirements for the upcoming trial. As usual, Trump appealed. He tried to get this appeals panel to overturn that $110,000 ruling. The 5-judge appeals panel ruled against him. And it wasn't even close. Their ruling was unanimous. So in addition to having to go to trial in the coming months for the potentially $250 million lawsuit, he still owes the attorney general $110,000. Another loss for Trump thanks to vile and clearly incompetent attorney Alina Habba. Last but not least, Trump attorneys are trying to block his previous alleged sexual assaults, also, harassment allegations, his words, his misogynistic, sexist words from being presented to the jury in the upcoming trial with E. Jean Carroll. Carroll, as I've mentioned, she's accused Trump of raping her, and that case is set to go to trial in April. Her attorneys want to show Trump's pattern of behavior. This includes, of course, the Access Hollywood tape in which he, like I said, essentially admits to assaulting women, also alleged encounters that numerous women have shared, claiming that he forcibly came onto them, groped them, kissed them, what have you. Even one of Trump's former White House employees said under oath in a recorded deposition that Trump became so obsessed when she was working in the White House, he became so obsessed with a young press aide that he asked her to join him on Air Force One so he could look at her ass. That was her direct quote. So Trump's team is trying to block the jury from seeing that recorded deposition. They're also trying to block the video deposition of a journalist You guys might remember this. She claims that Trump cornered her at Mar-a-Lago years ago. This was when Melania was I think they had been married 1 year. She was pregnant, and Trump allegedly cornered her at Mar-a-Lago and then forcibly kissed her. They're also trying to block the recorded deposition from a flight attendant who alleges that back in the 70s, Trump groped and fondled her against her will on a flight. This was like 45 years ago. They're even trying to prevent the jury from seeing a photo of her back in 1978. So the judge hasn't ruled on all of this yet, so we'll see what happens. One thing that the judge has ruled on, though, is this last-minute ditch attempt by Trump to try to stall this lawsuit off, try to hold off on this litigation and keep this trial from happening. As I mentioned to you guys recently, he's using this head fake of offering a DNA sample at the last minute. This is after the discovery period has ended in this case. Apparently, the judge raked Trump over the coals for this game because in a ruling on the matter, U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan wrote, quote, "Until February 10, 2023, about 10 weeks before this case is set to be tried, Mr. Trump has refused to provide his DNA. Moreover, he has employed litigation tactics, the effect and probable purpose of which have been to delay Ms. Carroll's actions against him, an object that is significant in view of the fact that Ms. Carroll now is 79 years old. Now, after time for pretrial discovery of evidence in both cases has expired, 3 days after Mr. Trump's latest request for a multi-week trial postponement was substantially denied, 1 day after the parties filed a joint pretrial order in the first of these cases that makes clear that neither Ms. Carroll nor Mr. Trump intends to call any DNA experts as witnesses in the trial of that case, and on the eve of the trial of at least the second filed of these cases, Mr. Trump suddenly has proposed a deal. He has offered to provide a DNA sample, but only on the condition that I require Ms. Carroll first to turn over to him a previously undisclosed appendix to the DNA report, the report that Ms. Carroll obtained and provided to Mr. Trump years ago. This judge is not happy with Trump's games. Trump is definitely not making friends and influencing judges. So I think he needs to revisit that Dale Carnegie book. But there you have it, guys. So the trial will go on, one of two. That's why the judge mentioned that there are two cases, because there is one, as I've said before, for the defamation specifically. And then there is another trial coming up for the actual rape under the new New York guidelines that allow adult survivors of assault to file cases outside of the typical window for the statute of limitations. So I will keep you guys posted. That's where it stands right now. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like this video, share it with others. Please donate if you possibly can. Subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps with the Google gods, with the YouTube gods. And I hope you guys are having a great day. Wish you a fabulous weekend. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.